The World in Flames. A brief and incomplete timeline of Trench Crusade. The year is 1072. Ominous celestial signs warn of the disruption of God's plan. Heretical cults multiply. The Order of Knights Templar is established. They set their sights on capturing the Temple Mount. 1099. The First Crusade captures Jerusalem. The Knights Templar commit the act of ultimate heresy. The gate of hell appears on earth. Jerusalem is destroyed in the cataclysm. 1101. The year of three battles. Heretics, reinforced by the armies of the Third Circle of Hell, conquer the entirety of the Levant. 1102. The ancient city of Antioch is fortified and becomes a focal point of resistance against the forces of hell. 1106. Kobar becomes the first tyrant of the 66. 1109. The great sultanate of the invincible iron wall of the two horns that pierce the sky is formed. In the coming decades, it unifies the Islamic factions. The great iron wall of Iskandar reemerges and is fortified against the heretics. 1117. The legendary 17 martyrs travel to the domains of hell to convert the heretics. They are captured, tortured, and preserved on the thrones of death, trapped for eternity within white-hot burning altars. 1165. The old man of the mountain and his Hashashins defend the mountain fortress of Alamut. Reportedly, the castle endures, despite being besieged for hundreds of years. Between 1215 to 1306, the Wars of Triclavianism. The church is divided, engulfed in a fierce internal conflict. Heretic domains spread as the faithful turn against each other. Millions perish by sword and flame. 1312. New Antioch creates the first communicants. Their entry into the war steadies the battlefront. Between 1346 and 1353, Beelzebub unleashes the Black Grail. Tens of millions are infected, transforming into metastatic vessels in the worst plague humanity has ever known. The Corpse Wars begin. 1429. Living Saint Jeanne d'Arc drives the Black Grail from mainland Europe. 1477. The city of Argos is taken by God and no more. 1503. War prophet Angelos, guided by Saint Eligas, discovers the formula for orichalcum steel. Though exorbitantly costly to produce, the metal proves to be highly effective against all missile weapons and remains in use to this day. 1545. Antioch is annihilated by a mysterious infernal weapon. 1553. The Sacred Order of the Dragon halts the infernal advance after the destruction of Byzantium. Word spreads of 1 million heretics impaled on the hills of Wallachia. 1588. The Unified Church complies with New Orthodox Syncretic Bible. 1595. Walls of New Antioch completed. 1666. The Year of Six Woes. In a surprise raid, the newly created heretic fleet captures Gibraltar. The Rock becomes the sea fortress, serving as the heretic base of operations against Europe. Forces of hell gain access to the Atlantic. 1670. Due to the constant coastal raids by the heretic fleet, the Crown of England begins the construction of the fortress of the White Cliffs of Dover. 1703. Against all odds, a small force of Hebrew knights, striking from their secret fortress, destroys the Templar stronghold at Acre. 1721. The third siege of New Antioch is lifted by the combined forces of Sultan Ibrahim, reinforced by a contingent of the Tulak warriors from the east and a relief fleet of the Papal States from the west. 1789. The Grand Fleet of the heretic Admiral Amenabad launches a full invasion of the Highlands. Bitter guerrilla warfare rages for decades as the Scots struggle to expel the invaders. The population is devastated. 1805. The heretic fleet commanded by High Captain Ranga triumphs over England's navy in the Battle of Bloody Cliffs. Admiral Nelson is slain in combat. 1807. The heretic Basilisk fleet invades the Eyrie. The High King Miradoc leads the clans against the invaders, but is slain at the Battle of Waterford. The Irish wage a century-long guerrilla campaign to reclaim their land. 1866. In utmost secrecy, heretic scientists, aided by the demon Marbas, constructed the first modern submarines. 1870. Launched from Gibraltar, the heretic submarine fleet inflicted severe losses on merchant navies, causing widespread famine. 1872. Heretic forces storm and seize the city of Rijeka. It is fortified, and the heretic conquest is launched against the European mainland. 1892. The heretics are expelled from the Eyrie. An audacious raid combined by Fiona Flying Column sinks the heretic flagship Hymn of Obscenity at anchor. 1894. The year of the Broken Trinity. In a synchronized strike, 3 Master Death Commandos, Cain, Barbarus, and Haman, assassinate the Supreme Pontiff, the High Prophetess Aelia, and the Holy Roman Emperor, plunging the faithful into turmoil. Simultaneously, the heretic legions, commanded by Hell's nobles of the Seventh Circle, launched a lightning offensive in the Levant and Europa, bolstered by a huge vanguard of tanks. 1899. Church space program commences. 1905. The supply fleet of New Antioch is ambushed and destroyed by the heretic fleet. The wreckage washes ashore along the Levant, creating the Carcass Front. Achish, the lord of the 66, launches the 8th siege of New Antioch, even as he strikes at the Iron Sultanate, aiming to divide and destroy the armies of the faithful. The Duke of New Antioch falls in battle, but a hastily assembled relief force eventually defeats the heretic armies. 1907. The construction of the moving fortress of Britannia is completed. 1910. The Battle of Cordoba results in a bloody stalemate. Heretic artillery obliterates the ancient city, but their forces fail to gain access to the heartlands of the Hispania. 1914. The present day. Both sides are preparing for a major offensive operations. Skirmishes and raids intensify across the vast swaths of no man's land as the faithful and the heretics vie for crucial information, powerful relics, and strategic positions. So here we are. The earth has been cleft in two as if by a bloodied sword, divided between the faithful and the fallen powers of the Inferno. There can never be peace between them. Though decades may pass while both sides, weary and spent, gather their strength and restore their ranks, the conflict always resumes. The Principality of New Antioch stands defiant against the devil's might. Here, Duke Constantine XI commands the armies of the faithful. On his shoulders rests the fate of the European continent. From all across Christendom, the pious and the mad form the trench pilgrim processions in bewildering numbers. These men and women seek to throw themselves against the demonic and heretical forces, desperate to earn salvation through battle. To the east, behind the protection of the Great Iron Wall, the Sultan marshals his forces as they struggle to hold back the tide of the Shaitan. Opposing the faithful from the lands under the fiery shadow of hell come the Lords of the 66, scheming towards domination and the ascension of a new overlord, reflecting on the mercurial politics of Inferno on earth. Amidst the killing fields, corpses shamble to their feet as the Prince of Decay, Beelzebub, wages his own private war against all life with his black grail. The mortal worshippers of demons and heretics are bolstered by the armies of the court of the seven-headed serpent, Hell's foot soldiers. In dark majesty, the terrible hunting parties of the Infernos seek to bleed the earth dry. Between the warring sides yawns no man's land, an endless set of trenchworks, pillboxes, and bunkers, ruined villages, towns, cities, pockmarked by devastating artillery, creating a landscape of horror haunted by the ghosts of the fallen. Shattered temples, synagogues, mosques, churches, basilicas, and cathedrals stand in solemn witness to a battle as spiritual as it is physical. The perils at sea are no less dire, where the heretic navies dominate their faithful counterparts. Maintaining vital trade routes demands every ounce of strength from the admirals and captains charged with the nigh impossible task of contesting the mighty behemoths and submarines of the heretics. Only in the Mediterranean do the faithful and the heretics meet as near equals, locked in a tenuous balance of power. No part of the world is truly safe from hell's claws, which reach ever outward to grasp their coveted prize: absolute mastery over creation.